Hello and welcome to the News Brief, GSN, for January 29th, Friday, January 29th, 2021. So glad to have you among us. Welcome to the News Brief. There wasn't a News Brief last week, in case you were looking for it. Sorry about that. There just wasn't a whole lot of news to report from last week. But we're back, and we should be back for the next several weeks. Next week, I will be attending a clergy conference. It's called Reading from the Margins, and the idea is to read the scripture really in kind of the way that they were intended to be, not from a position of power, but from those who live on the margins of society, and how God has spoken to the Jewish people, how God has spoken to the new Christian community there in the New Testament. So I'm excited for that. That'll be a virtual clergy conference next week, Wednesday through Friday. And that shouldn't have an effect on GSN, but it might push things back a little bit for next week. Just so you know. Lent is coming. It's just a couple weeks away now. It's Wednesday, February 17th. That is Ash Wednesday. And we are planning the Mass schedule. We are also planning to do distribution of ashes outside as well. So those who do not yet feel comfortable coming into the church, we'll have a brief distribution of ashes service outside as well, weather permitting. And it's going to be different this year. We have instructions. I'll have to review how they work exactly, but I think we are sprinkling ashes on the heads of people instead of making the traditional sign of the cross on the forehead. That is, I understand, it's kind of an Italian custom of how you do that, is you kind of sprinkle on the head. And so it won't be as obvious with the sign of the cross on our head, but we don't want to be having the contact from person to person to person. So it'll be a non-contact kind of Ash Wednesday, which should be interesting. But we will be having the Masses 7 o'clock, 8:30, and then 12:15, I think that's the time, and a 5:15 Ash distribution service, along with a 6 o'clock and 7:30 Mass. So trying to get this Lent started off in a good way. We will also have the Stations of the Cross. We will not be following the stations, walking around as a group, station to station, but we will project the stations up on the screen so people can participate from the pews, maintaining that social distance. Unfortunately, we will not have fish fries this Lent. We just couldn't come up with a way that made it safe and a good system for the night. So hopefully we will be back in full force next Lent with those great fish fries. I will miss them, certainly. What's Lent without a fish fry? But we are not prepared to do that at this time. Also, when we are starting up Lent, we are starting a new Mass. I'm very excited about it. Maybe you've heard the scuttlebutt, the rumbling about this new Mass that we are offering. It'll be a 4 p.m. bilingual Mass, English and Spanish. We've been doing a lot of planning for this Mass. And one of the meetings that we had this past week, Raffaele referred to it as kind of a bilingual Mass lab, which I like that phrase. It's a Mass lab. We're trying it out. It's an experiment to see how it will work. And we're going to do it for Lent and then continue it, hopefully, at 4 o'clock maybe, or not 4 o'clock. We're still playing around, but for Lent anyway, we are doing a 4 p.m. bilingual Mass. Now, why are we doing this? I want to give some kind of background of this. One is we have a real problem, or a grace thing, it's a good problem to have, is our 12:30 Spanish Mass is really pushing the limits of where we should be with our social distancing and making sure that everyone is 6 feet apart and everything. It's really getting pretty full. And people tend to come to Mass more during the season of Lent. And so I have a concern of more people coming to Mass and not having the space for them. So this idea for this bilingual Mass, the first thought was, you could add another Spanish Mass. But I do think that there's a real need and a real interest. And when I've been presenting this to various groups, there's lots of people that are really excited about this, to offer a bilingual Mass with kind of our target audience for those that really live in two worlds, which is particularly the second generation of immigrants that have come to our country. The children of first generation, they tend to speak more English, although they have a pretty good understanding of Spanish. They're very much in the culture of their country of origin, but their language that they speak generally is more English. And so we want to create a Mass that really speaks their language, both the culture and the language that they speak. So that's the idea. So we want to create this Mass. It's going to be hopefully a good experience that will hopefully attract, the vision is hopefully attract a wider group of people from all around the area that will really resonate with something that is bilingual and is honoring the heritage, the culture, and also the language that they understand. I hear all the time that the kids that attend the 12:30 Mass don't understand a lot of it because they don't speak a whole lot of Spanish. They speak it in their homes, but there's a difference between close the refrigerator and Jesus is the only begotten Son of God. Those are two very different concepts. So we want to provide an experience where they can really understand and experience the Mass in a way that really resonates with them. So we are starting a 4 p.m. Mass. Now, I know there's concern, well, what about the 5 p.m. English Mass that we used to have, and what about the Rhythm of Christ? We are not prepared at this time to offer another English Mass. Our 3 English Masses, although they are getting a little bit fuller, we still have space at those Masses. But the real problem is we don't have the personnel really to staff, if you will, another Mass. Raffaele is often playing the music at all the 3 of the Masses, and I don't really want to put a 4th Mass on him or other ministers. We have a lot of the same lectors that have been doing the ministry, and Eucharistic ministers and hospitality ministers. We're having a hard enough time finding ministers for 3 Masses. We're not really prepared to do another one. So at this time, we are not ready to start another English Mass. So for the moment, we are doing a 4 p.m. bilingual Mass starting the first Sunday of Lent. And I'm really excited about it. There's some real great potential, and we've had several meetings in planning this and trying to plan this well. So it's a bit of a different understanding than the idea of a bilingual Mass that we have had like for Holy Week. This is kind of a different audience. So just to let you know, if you've been wondering, well, what's going on with that and when are we going to get the 5 p.m. Mass back? Not at least until after Easter will be the return of the 5 p.m. Mass, and we'll just have to see how things go. So things might still move around a little bit on the schedule. We are in the Call to Share campaign. It's everyone's favorite time of the year, I know. But I'd like to share some videos of testimonies of people talking about the beauty of the call to share and why they participate. So here are a few voices to share about our call to share.
Hi, I'm Terry Russell.
And I'm Gene Russell. We've been giving to the Archbishop's Call to Share for many, many years.
We believe it's important to not only support Good Shepherd, our home parish, but the wider archdiocesan area for their many wonderful ministries and programs.
So we look at our budget and we'll make sure that we've always considered that in our tithing. That way we're able to support the ministries that we can't get involved individually. For those talents and skills that can do it, those programs exist.
Hi, we're Eric and Angela May, and we've been parishioners since around 2011, and we give to the Archbishop Call to Share because of the many ministries that it supports. Some of these ministries, like the nursing home Villa St. Francis, would not be able to continue to provide the care that it does without the money from the Archbishop Call to Share. So please consider giving. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Anne-Marie.
And I'm Rob Greminger. We've been members of Good Shepherd for about 30 years or so. And we've been involved in parish activities, but also at the archdiocese level as well.
Yeah, we've participated with the refugee program, with the marriage preparation program, and even just collecting food for the food banks and contributing to Catholic charities.
And all the ways that we have been able to contribute, it doesn't even begin to touch it as far as the things that the Archdiocese does for the people in need. So we encourage all Good Shepherd parishioners to do what you can to contribute in whatever way you can to the Archbishop's Call to Share.
Also this week coming up, we are celebrating our Catholic schools. It's Catholic Education Week, Catholic Schools Week. We have a wonderful school here at Good Shepherd, wins all kinds of awards. We also have a very good religious education program. We're in a little bit of transition in our program with a new director and a new program and doing things virtually. But I'm very happy and pleased with all the hard work that's happening here to educate our youth and educate this upcoming generation of Catholics. This weekend, there will be a little video before the Masses of some of our Catholic school students giving thanks to all of the generosity that really helps to support them and support our school. And I'll put it probably in the news brief next week too, because it's really delightful. It's adorable. So I'll plan on putting that in the news brief next week. And then tomorrow, I've got my Bible study. We're talking about the exciting book of Numbers. I've been covering the Pentateuch to begin this year, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, and now we are on Numbers, the 4th of 5, and then Deuteronomy next week. So in English, that little Bible study is 9 a.m., and I just try to cover one book of the Bible in about an hour. So it's an interesting book, Numbers. And so if you've never read Numbers, if you'd like to learn more about the Bible, check that out. The previous Bible studies can be found on the website. So I hope that you have a blessed week. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I will see you next time.